In this picture, we can see some of Venezuela's traditional houses. The use of bright color to decorate the facade was a must in all of them. As you walk by some of the remaining streets that still have this type of houses, you can almost feel like it was a competition between the neighbors for whose house stands out the most. In this next picture, we can see the Hospital Clínico Universitario de Caracas, located in Universidad Central de Venezuela inside the campus. I chose this particular picture because it shows how Villanueva used the bright colors of the traditional houses to design modern buildings. This picture was taken inside the nursery school of the Universidad Central de Venezuela. In this photograph, we can see how this wonderful work of art provides the right amount of lighting on this reading and studying space. It plays with colors in a subtle way that doesn't allow you to get distracted by it, yet it also creates a certain appeal to the space. In this other example of good use of lighting in architecture is the Aula Magna designed by Raúl Villanueva. Here we can observe a perfect use for accent light. It makes the floating planes on the ceiling stand out even more than they do on their own, creating a beautiful effect for the observers. In this picture, we can see the Architecture and Urban Planning building in Ciudad Universitaria designed by Raúl Villanueva. In this building, the texture is used to mark the floors and proportions to give scale to the building. It also adds movement to the building because of the use of the color, and it helps you get an idea of the modulation used in the inner spaces of the building. In the Abadia of Huibet, designed by Jesus Temprero, there is a different use for texture in the inner spaces. On this building, the bricks give scale to the space that otherwise would look disproportionate. This is very important on churches which tend to be big and high spaces. In most cases, the texture and the benches give scale to the space. As for good acoustics in Venezuelan architecture, the best example is the one of the Aula Magna located in Ciudad Universitaria, designed by Raúl Villanueva. The acoustic of this room stands between the 5 best acoustics achieved on indoor spaces in the world. This accomplishment was achieved thanks to the floating clouds, which are the colored elements placed on the ceiling designed by Alexander Caldera, to calibrate accurately the acoustics while an orchestra was playing on the stage. Another good example for acoustics in Caracas could be the Sala Ríos Reina inside the Teresa Carreño Theater. This is the permanent presentation room for the Symphonic Orchestra of Venezuela. Here, the acoustics were accomplished by different elements, such as the distribution of the seats, acoustic panels on the ceiling, and the use of absorbent materials. Also, a system that prevents filtration of outside noise. In this partial view of Caracas taken from a building in Parque del Este, we can appreciate the rhythm of certain elements that are seen to be very similar and repeat along the composition, such as the buildings that are gathered on the right side and the back of the picture. Also, there is a different type of rhythm on the higher buildings located on the left side and closer to the picture was taken. The buildings are hardly similar if you look at them closely. Nonetheless, the repetition of a similar shape causes the human eye to feel as if they are repeating. In this famous artwork by Patricia Vandalen, located in Prados del Este Avenue in Caracas, despite it being a series of different compositions made with the same color pattern, the rhythm is still present in the piece, because of it being a continuous repetition of the same shapes and colors. The length of this work of art also helps the rhythm feel it has. In this photograph of Guiria, the rhythm is present through the repetition of certain elements in the houses, such as the particular shape of the roof and the pattern of the windows and doors. Despite of the shape not being the same exactly, in this case, color helps the repetition to be more noticeable. In this photograph of the Millennium Shopping Mall located in La Carlota, Caracas, we can appreciate a good example of horizontal circulation. The placement of the building in the topographic settlement allows the building to have enough area around it to handle the strong gesture of the building. This allows the great mass of people that walk by every day to feel comfortable in this wide open space that creates expectation before arriving to the building. To find a good and wide horizontal circulation as this one in Caracas is very rare, mostly because this space is considered to be lost. Nonetheless, for this highly trafficked area, it was geniusly handled. Meanwhile, another good example of horizontal circulation in a smaller scale is the entrance of the Facultad de Enfermería of Ciudad Universitaria de Caracas. This ramp, located on a side of the entrance, gives people the necessary time to admire the building as they walk by an exuberant nature, resulting in a very pleasant way to approach the building and prepare the observer for what he is about to experience on the inside. As for vertical circulation in our city, I wasn't able to find a better example of it than the stairs of the Biblioteca Central de Venezuela, also located in Ciudad Universitaria. This staircase provides the observer with a feel that he is moving through time. Also, because of its curved shape, it allows the observer to anticipate the space and finally discover it completely at the end of it. The Parque Cristal building, located in Altamira, Caracas, is a perfect example for intentional violation of the human scale. This building rises 103 meters over the ground in a single plane. To accomplish the monumental effect, even on the inside, the observer feels overwhelmed by the verticality of the walls around it that overcome by far the human scale. Meanwhile, Torre Este in Parque Central, Caracas, designed by Daniel Fernandez Shaw, that rises 225 meters over the ground, could be a good example for violation of the human scale to create an aesthetic effect. In this case, the architect's concern was to create a clearness and simplicity with only two materials, concrete and mirror glass, concentrating them to accomplish the massive verticality of the building.